now. I don't even know how to feel. Hey, I can't even tell what's real. Yeah, I just want you to come chill. Hey, yeah, I thought that was the deal. Hey, why y'all playing these games?
When wuque Studio reached out to see if I would be willing to take a look at their new zoomtkl, I was so excited and I agreed. Hey guys, I'm Simulator Tech, and today I'm going to be building and reviewing the zoomtkl by Meletrix. These are the guys responsible for the Zoom 65, which was a really solid board for its price. It had a very distinct creamy sound signature that was loved by many people, but also disliked by some. In this case, Meletrix claims that this board can sound good with both no foam as well as with foam. Today, I'm going to be doing both to see if Meletrix claims are true. Before I start, I just want to say that wuque Studio sent me this board for free, but all thoughts and opinions are my own. First, let's take a quick look at the unboxing experience. Hey guys, sorry for this little pause, but I just realized I forgot to mention the price. So this board is going to run you $180. I received the entry edition of this board, but they're going to also have an assembled version. I don't know how much that one will cost, but anyways, back to the video. I'm pretty sure this is a pre-production sample, so the packaging may not be exactly the same as the group by units. Also, there are some marks on my hands, but don't worry, it's just marker ink that won't wash off. Alright, here is the first box they sent me. Inside is a pretty nice carrying case, and dang, it's heavy. Inside this pouch, they've included a packet of their screw-in stabilizers, pre-cut Holy mod strips, and a bunch of other stabilizer mods. They also threw in some white replacement feet for the bottom, some screws with I think a hex screwdriver, a nice braided coiled cable, and a bag with a ton of foam and gaskets. In the bottom of the carrying case, they include a 1.2mm south-facing hot swap PCB with some flex cuts for that bouncy typing feel, a battery for wireless connectivity, and finally, the case with the polycarbonate plate pre-installed. Holy crap, this thing is heavy. It's a nano-coated aluminum case with a backweight that can come in glass, steel, or carbon fiber. My case came in scarlet red with the gradient red glass weight, and dude, it is absolutely stunning. Hold up, here's some quick ASMR. The nano-coated finish of the case is super nice. I don't really know the difference between various finishes, but Meletrix claims that it's not quite as durable as some other finishes. Overall, it really does look amazing. The weight is beautiful, but it picks up fingerprints kinda easily. One thing I noticed is a little split in the glass next to the USB-C port, but at this point, that's kinda just nitpicking, you don't really notice it. They also sent over an aluminum plate, which I'll be using for the Foamless configuration. They sent me some of their pre-lube yellow switches. The housings are nylon, the stem is long pole and made of palm, and the spring is a 53-gram double-stage spring. These are super smooth right out of the box, and I would highly recommend checking them out. Alright, some of you may get mad at me for this, but the keycaps I'm using are some pretty cheap double-shot Amazon white on black keycaps. I know. Using cheap keycaps doesn't really make sense to put on a board of this quality, but I am really broke and can't afford that fancy GMK stuff. Honestly, the color is pretty good, but the fonts are not the greatest. If you want to support me, then please use my affiliate link in the description when purchasing this board. I get a percentage of the money back on each purchase at no extra cost to you, so if you want to help me out, be sure to use my link. Anyways, let's get right into the build. First, I'm going to build it out with no foam. For the sake of time, I'm not going to be showing you the exact steps I did to build this board, since there are build guides out there. I used the aluminum plate, none of the foam, and some cherry hyperglide blacks, which I lubed with 205G0 on the housings and super lube oil on the springs. I also filmed them with TX 1.5mm films, and I spring swapped them with TX 67-gram medium springs. Both of the configurations I did in this build are using the internal weight instead of the case foam. I lubed the stabs with 205G0 on the housings and the wires, and here is how it sounds. I'm not gonna lie, it only sounds okay. Generally, MX blacks on aluminum will sound very high-pitched and clacky, but in this case, it didn't really work out that way. If you want to take this route instead of the foamed out path, I would heavily suggest using long pole switches. The MX blacks sounded kind of muted and dull, and I think long pole switches would definitely improve the sound signature a bit. I would also suggest maybe trying the carbon fiber plate instead of the aluminum, as well as adding a little bit of case foam to clean up the sound. With the right setup, I think it definitely can sound good with a clacky sound signature, but in my case, it was a little bit disappointing. But let's be honest, this board is definitely catered toward the creamy, marbly sound signature, so I'm going to build it out just that way. The first change I'm making is adding all of the foams except for some of this case foam since it won't fit with the PCB foam. This should clean up the sound, and the PE foam will provide that distinct creamy sound signature. I'm also replacing the plate with the polycarbonate one for that deeper sound signature. Finally, I'm going to be using Wuque Studio's yellow switches that I mentioned earlier in the video. Now let's see how it sounds. Holy crap, this thing sounds amazing. This has got to be the best sounding board in my entire collection. It's got that marbly sound signature from the PE foam and a beautiful pop from the spacebar. Even with the polycarbonate plate, this configuration actually sounds a little bit clackier than the configuration with the aluminum plate and no foam. Keyboard has a really good video on his channel that explains how to make your keyboard clack or thock, and I'll link it in the description, but in short, thicker, denser foams will actually give you a clackier sound. All of the stabilizers sounded great with just a little bit of Crytox 205G0, but the spacebar did need a little bit more tuning. With the polycarbonate plate and all the foam, there's a little bit more flex compared to the aluminum plate, but it's not like a ridiculous amount. The PCB is 1.2mm thick and there's no perky RGB, but there are downfiring LEDs on the sides which can be adjusted with VIA. The layout support on the PCB is pretty good with support for ANSI and ISO, step caps lock, 7U spacebar, and a ton of other stuff that you can find on Meletrix's Geekhack and Reddit pages. The typing angle is a comfortable 5 degrees, but it's not adjustable. For some it might be a little bit flat, but personally I really like it. Finally, you can choose to have the aluminum or polycarbonate plate included with your kit. My preference is the polycarbonate plate with all the foam, but for those of you who don't like those foamy sounding keyboards, you can go with the aluminum plate option. If you want to learn more details about the group buy, I will link the Geekhack page for you guys to find more information. Overall, this board is an absolute steal. It feels amazing, looks amazing, sounds amazing, and it costs less than $200. Make sure not to miss the group buy period, and be sure to use my affiliate link in the description to help me out a bit. Anyways, thank you for watching, and thank you Wuque Studio for sending out this board. See you guys later. Bye!